Actually,
Our next bout of the evening is scheduled for 4 rounds of Bantamweight division. Let's introduce our fighters in the red corner, wearing black trunks with red trim. He came into the weigh-in at 118 pounds. Pro record 2 wins, 7 losses. From Farmington, New Mexico, please welcome Fernandez. His opponent in the blue corner is wearing white trunks with all sorts of trim.
Look at Perez. He's got the shimmy going. Thanks for Rob Brandon, but not by then.
3-0. Fighting out of Shakopee. Please welcome Jonathon.
Mark Nelson, world-class referee. He's refereed more than 70 world title fights. He's definitely the right man for the job.
There's really no other way to put it.
You got Perez at 3-0 with 3 knockouts. And you got Fernandez at 2-7, but yet he's fought a lot of undefeated fighters and high-quality caliber opponents. But look for Perez to come out and not want that unbeaten streak to be snapped or his knockout streak to be snapped.
Well, Fernandez comes from the area you just mentioned, the Tex-Mex area, New Mexico down there. There's a lot of talent to be had.
That's the other thing.
That area.
That's the other thing. You know, it was 2-7 down there. It's a little bit different than 2-7 up here because of the breadth of talent at that weight class.
100% agree.
I'm back. Delay, no boxers cup. Fernandez came in with one of those, you know those cups those cups that you hand you out in high school that you wear in gym class? That's what he was wearing. So referee Mark Nelson, of course, being as good a referee as there is in the business, immediately checked the fighter, said, you got to go back to the locker room and get a real boxing cup or you're not fighting in the ring tonight. So
out of curiosity, where do they come up with a real boxing cup on the fly like that?
I think he probably borrowed one from another guy.
Probably wearing somebody else's.
Yeah, probably wearing somebody else's. I don't know if I want to share it with somebody, but that's what they did.
It's not fun
you know,
to think about.
and you know, the problem is that when he left the dressing room, he should have been checked by one of the commission members. He should never have gotten out of the dressing room. So somebody blundered there will probably get a tongue lashing there because you're not supposed to leave him let him out of the dressing room without the proper equipment. So
Excellent point, Dan.
here we go. So we're just into round 1. What do you know about these two fighters? What do you know about Jonathon Perez, undefeated at 3-0?
Well, we talked a little bit about that when you're in the ring. He's 3-0 with 3 knockouts. He's not going to want to see either streak snapped against the 2-7 Fernandez. But Fernandez comes from that Tex-Mex area where they got a lot of talented guys in this weight class. So 2-7 down there is not as bad as 2-7 up here. No criticism of the Midwest, but we're not thick on that weight class for talent. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table. He's never been knocked out. He was stopped in his pro debut, but that was on a cut. So if Perez can stop him, he does something that a lot of other talented prospects have not been able to do.
How about Perez's amateur career? Did he have a long amateur career?
Yeah, I'm not that familiar on Perez's amateur career. Brett, are you familiar with his amateur career?
As far as the accolades and numbers and statistics go, I'm not. I know I was able to watch him spar as a younger fighter in the past 3-4 years at the Circular Discipline Gym, and any fighter that comes from the Circular Discipline Gym is going to be there.
So left hand from Perez lands on Fernandez, but Fernandez comes right back. So
There they go.
Yep. Now they're tied up. Referee Mark Nelson separates the two fighters.
One thing you'll see about Perez, he doesn't waste punches. He's one of the more accurate punchers. I would say the most accurate puncher in the state right now, pound for pound, is Ishmael Moendo. But Perez is another fighter who does not waste punches. And I would call it controlled aggression and speed.
10 seconds to go in the round. And we're going to see the conclusion of our first round for the first time in several fights, it looks like, gentlemen.
Get yourself a little break.
Yeah. Well, the first round is in the books. You're listening to Pro Boxing, Pound for Pound, live from Canterbury Park in Shakopee, Minnesota, just outside of downtown Minneapolis, about a 25-minute trip. Fight Area 51 is putting on our fight tonight, as well as Sterling Entertainment Group. And you're listening to the fights on SterlingMN.com. How do you guys score the first round?
You know, I thought it was a close round, actually. It's a tough round to score. It was a tough round to score. You know, if you go with aggression, then you got to give it to Fernandez. If you go with the amount of punches that actually landed, I'd say it's Perez.
So a close first round between the two. Aaron Fernandez out of Farmington, New Mexico.
I'd scored for Perez.
And Jonathan Perez out of Shakopee.
Just realized I didn't really answer your question.
Yeah. So. Well, and you know what? I think you and I talked about this the last time we did a broadcast together. I'm like, I generally don't like to give even rounds. I've done it before, not often.
Yeah.
But sometimes you look at it and you just go, I just really couldn't give it to one guy or the other. But you don't see many boxing officials score, judges score.
No, we talked about that a little bit too when you were gone. And I'm a guy that doesn't like doing it, but I absolutely will if that's what I
Yes,
decide.
absolutely.
Otherwise, it costs a guy a fight because you had to flip a nickel in the air in college. You thought both guys finished
Yeah,
the same
exactly.
rate.
So here we go. Perez throwing out the jab, and now a left hook from Fernandez, and a good body shot by Perez, and now a wild left hook from Fernandez, and Perez throws a left hook of his own that doesn't land either.
You know, Jake, I have a question for you. I feel like you might be the one guy in the state that can answer this question. They moved from 15-round title fights to 12. Why didn't they move to 13 to keep it odd? Don't you think you want an odd amount of rounds?
It would make sense at first, but the reason they did it was because after Ray Boom Boom Mancini killed Duck Coop Kim in 1982, it happened shortly after that. Some of the organizations did it quicker than others. You know, there's not just one body anymore, unfortunately. But when they did a study, they found that most deaths, they happened during what they used to be called the championship rounds. 13, 14, and 15 was when the most of the brain trauma happened because you're so exhausted. And so that's why they chose to eliminate those last 3 rounds. Next question.
Jake Wagner, the Google of boxing.
The nerd of boxing.
Now Perez comes up with a right uppercut, and then he puts his arm around the back of the head of Fernandez, ties him up. Bantamweight both weighed in at 118 pounds in yesterday's weigh-in. Right hand lands by...
Perez gave him 3 feints and got him to bite. Now he's throwing some heavy leather.
Yeah, throws a combination that lands, and Fernandez does the wise thing and tries to tie him up, separated by Mark Wilson. Right hand to the body by Perez.
With the experience, Fernandez, it's obvious. You could tell he's been with some good fighters. He knows what he's doing out there. He knows what to do. He's reacting the right ways. Perez is going to go some rounds tonight.
Do we have a number on how many times 7 losses Fernandez scored when he's been knocked out?
He takes a low blow shot. Yeah. I think he's very thankful. He should thank Mark Nelson now for making him go back to the dressing room and get a boxing cup.
Yeah. How prophetic did that end up being?
Because without one, I think he doesn't get it from the book.
Very good point.
Now tied up again. They're back to fighting as Fernandez is fine. Now again, they're going toe-to-toe, throwing punches. Oh, nice right hand by
Perez
Fernandez.
was stunned.
Yeah, and then Fernandez missed with another big right hand, and Perez indicates he's fine and wants him to keep coming. Left hand misses by Fernandez.
It just amazes me how quickly some of these guys are able to recover from shots.
Perez is in fantastic shape, and you know, he benefits a lot from sparring with the best bantamweight in the state, which, in my opinion, is Vicente Alfaro when he fights at 118. Nice short left hook there, nice and tight.
Yep, Fernandez was stunned by it momentarily. 10 seconds to go. And that ends our second round.
It's just shaping up to be one of the more competitive fights of the evening.
Those are 2 competitive rounds right there.
Yeah, two very competitive rounds, no question.
Again, in my mind, I give that round to Perez.
I think I would too. You can make a case for Fernandez in either round, though. This could be 2-0 either way.
If it was in Fernandez's hometown, you'd probably find some people scoring it that way. It has nothing to do with the reason I'm giving it to Perez back-to-back rounds, but I just thought he's landing the harder, more effectual punches. Yeah, I don't see him getting hit as much as Fernandez is getting hit.
Well, now my stopwatch, I have operator error, guys. I don't think I'll be able to keep track of the rounds anymore. I got laps going on. This is more like I'm trying to judge a relay race rather than a boxing match with my stopwatch.
Well, you've been so back and forth tonight, it's only fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got ESPN's Max Kellerman who always, whenever I can't decide a round, I always ask myself, who would I have rather been? Well, okay. Well, I guess I know I wouldn't have rather been Fernandez in that.
Sure. You know, I kind of like that. I've heard that before. Who would I rather have been? I guess that's a good way to put it. I think I got my stopwatch. We're going third round of a scheduled 4-rounder here from Canterbury Park. Bantamweights, Aaron Fernandez and Jonathan Perez. Perez undefeated as a pro, 3-0.
Perez landing some very nice Right hooks, right uppercuts.
Fernandez is shaking those punches off, though.
Again, we talked about the chin of Fernandez. In against a lot of, well, guys with very nice records at his weight class, well-seasoned guys, and never been knocked out. Again, that TKO was a cut.
Now Fernandez getting
in some nice body work.
Yep. And now referee Mark Nelson has words for the both of them.
He's a tough guy. He's taken some good shots. He hasn't been hurt by them.
Now, these are without a doubt the two smallest fighters on the card, but the stare down between these two, just cold-blooded.
Well, it's been the most competitive fight so far too. Yeah. And the most entertaining too, because both guys, you can tell them how to fight.
Yeah. Perez is getting a little tired.
Yep.
And I see Fernandez coming on.
Yeah, Fernandez is definitely forcing the action here in the early going of the third round.
This is a test.
Just over a minute and a half to go in round number 34. Yeah, and Perez does seem to be standing a bit more flat-footed now, not up on his toes like he was early in the fight.
His punches don't have the speed that they had in the first two rounds. But if I'm Fernandez's corner, I want Perez to throw that right hand, and I want to beat him to the punch with the counter.
Now Perez trying to again initiate the action here, and he does. Oh, he lands with a nice left hand.
He's got him hurt.
Yeah.
That was a left hook. Fernandez thought they were about to break. He wasn't defending himself. Perfectly legal shot, but he caught him good. Now he hit him with the body shot.
That's the first time I've seen Fernandez hurt all night.
You know, Fernandez goes down, but it's because he was leaned on by Perez. So
right. It was not an official knockout.
Yes, correct.
But you saw, Perez dug in with two hellacious right uppercuts to the belly.
And right when we thought Fernandez was starting to get the better of the action, Perez with some big punches landed, including, like you say, the big left hand.
Perez not afraid to lead with the left hook, is he?
Absolutely not.
Perez with a couple of left hands to Fernandez's body there. The two fighters are tied up again. Mark Nelson breaks him up. 10 seconds to go in the third round of the scheduled 4-rounder. Perez,
sneaky right uppercut.
Right uppercut off the jaw of Fernandez. Very good round early for Fernandez early in the middle part of the round, but then Perez
negated what he did.
Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, there's no question that he had Fernandez. He may have not had Fernandez hurt badly, but he certainly had him stunned. There's no question about that.
Definitely.
Fight Area 51 and SEG are bringing us our fight action tonight, pound for pound, live from Canterbury Park. Don't forget, if you'd like to find out more about upcoming fights, ticket information, if you're listening in the area, go to fightarea51.com. Fightarea51.com. You can get upcoming events, information on fighters, tickets, etc., etc.
This is all new territory for Jonathon Perez. He's never been past 2 rounds. So last round 3 was the first for him. This is definitely first for him going 4 rounds. He's always knocked his people out. And
as you mentioned, you want to keep the streak of winning and knockouts, but I think it's good for any fighter as they continue to build their career to get more experience. Feel what it's like to go with a good fighter and go deep into a fight.
You want rounds. There's not enough.
Well, right now his corner's telling him to forget about the knockout. You box smart, don't get too crazy. This is a close fight.
Both fighters coming out throwing punches.
When asked yesterday at the press conference if...
Perez. Both fighters throwing hooks to the body.
Perez was asked if he thinks he's on the route to becoming an elite fighter in Minnesota. He says he believes that he's already there. And I think, like you just said, Dan, just getting those rounds and winning a fight throughout the course of the fight can be as important as getting a fight knockout.
A couple of nice left hands by Fernandez, but now a nice combination by Perez backs Fernandez up. So they both land punches here. Nice uppercut and then a right cross again by Perez.
These body shots.
Yeah.
You know, Perez is doing everything right. He just needs to set himself up and make the work a little easier on him. He needs to make some of these punches come a little bit more surprising, and then not just throw the 1-2. He needs to throw the 3-4-5. That's what's going to drop Fernandez in this fight, not the 1-2s. This guy can take that.
Now Perez throws a couple of punches that land. Fernandez answers back. Shocking left
Both
hand.
fighters exchange hooks.
Yep.
Oh, Fernandez getting cute, sticking his tongue out.
Yeah.
Perez obliging.
Yeah. And now Nelson calls a timeout and admonishes them both. I think he's telling them fight, quit the antics. Mark Nelson doesn't take a lot of.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't take it. It's his ring. He's in control of the ring. He's as good as he referees internationally, title fights all over the world. He's as good as it gets. Jabs now by Perez.
I'm just gonna say Perez should be doubling and tripling up his jab to show him something different. The guy's already known he's got a sneaky right uppercut. He knows he's got a nice left hook. Double, triple up on the jab, and then start throwing some combinations.
45 seconds to go in the bout. We have it close here between Perez and Fernandez. Perez from Shakopee, he's 3-0.
Oh, nice body
That
shot.
was a great body shot by Perez. And another left hook to the body, now a right uppercut by Perez. And then Fernandez answers with 3 chopping right hands to the side of Perez.
Nice jab. Both men just tearing each other up to the body.
Up to the 10-second mark. There it is. There's the bell to end the fight. I'll go up and announce the decision, gentlemen. We'll be right back.
This should be interesting. This will be. I think Perez has got the decision, but what a hard-fought decision I think he had to earn.
I think so. I think you could see a score anywhere from a shutout to a one-round fight.
Now, this is why we talked about, it goes all back to what we said before, that a record can be deceptive.
It really can.
I mean, you take a guy like Fernandez with a 2-7 record, we talked about that, but it's who did he fight? Where did he fight him? In that other guy's backyard or his own, you know? So, and as it turns out, none of them have been in his own backyard. It's always being brought in as the opponent.
Absolutely. And it's unfortunate, but you could, at the end of the night, when this card of boxing is said and done, you could make a case that Aaron Fernandez is probably in the top 5 or 4 performers of tonight's participants. He's going to walk out of here with a loss.
Oh, right.
And like you said, that's another testament to how deceptive the record is.
Really curious what how these gentlemen go to the restroom after this fight. They took a lot of body shots.
Yes, they did. I think Dan could have said it any better. He's thanking his lucky stars, a.k.a. Mark Nelson. Charles Meyer walking by. Saw the middleweight.
Okay, so let's have a big round of applause for both of our fighters, Jonathon Perez and Fernandez. Performing from New Mexico, our judges have reached a unanimous decision, and the scores are as follows. Judge Denny Nelson scored the fight 40-36. Judge John Mariano viewed the fight 40-36. And Judge Vern Sweeney saw the fight at 40-36. For the winner, and still undefeated from Shakopee, Jonathon